Greetings. I actually just want to dive into, from a news perspective, how miraculous, not just today, is in terms of how impressive, I would just say, even if I didn't think it was impressive, but how impressive the president is, not just as Trump, but actually as the president. And since Trump is Trump, Trump being Trump is a great president. Trump is shown outstanding progress just in the past 3 days alone. It seems very amazing that there is, at least from my perspective, there seems to be a huge rise in American spirit and the connection between Americans. If anything, I think in the last 3 days, it's exemplified something that I find actually really interesting, which I actually didn't want to talk about. But the fact that it's like I wanted to make a comedic joke, and I kind of did, but I wanted to make a comedic joke about the Democrats. Like one of the questions that was one of the questions that I saw yesterday is, what do you call a room full of Democrats? And in my head, I was thinking an international cock block. That's literally what I was thinking in my head, and I found it so laughing that I found it so funny that I kept laughing because I found it to be so true, and it's hilarious to me. It's absolutely hilarious to me, and it's I think I'd want to talk about that just a little bit more. Like, think about it. Like, what do you call a room full of Democrats? Like, originally I thought a cock block. But then I thought, wouldn't it be funnier if it was an international cock block? But think about, how much progress or how much the Democrats care about the country. Think about all the good things the Democrats have done for the USA in this past presidency. Think about I gotta tell the truth every now and then. The fact is that, and not that I even want to talk about it because there's no point in talking about it, but the fact is that the president won and the election is over, the victory has been claimed, and progress is being made. And the thing is, how amazing is it that how amazing is it that I think, from my perspective, I believe that the globalists are absolutely running scared. I feel like there's nowhere for the globalists to hide. And that might be a little bit off topic, but because the thing is, I'm no longer, as of yesterday, I'm no longer just, searching and seeking them out. I want to know them. I want to know the globalists inside and out. I want to know what the globalists are doing. And I want to not have globalists doing globalist corrupt things. And the thing is that there's a lot of positivity that comes from the spirit of American people. And it's not just the positivity that makes things flourish and makes the surrounding environment flourish around America, but there's an attractive flair about America that has always made America great. America is a foundation of... it has a constitutional foundation. America has a constitutional foundation. It has a foundation of freedom and liberty. And that's kind of obvious. And it's obviously very attractive. Obviously, and without a doubt, just the attractiveness of American alone, it attracts companies and more businesses to want to do business in America. And I would say I would be surprised if other countries wanted to do business with America. But I think that the issue isn't even business. The issue is just the fact that, I found this quite interesting. If there's corruption anywhere around the world, I would love to be the one who would say, America is the one who doesn't stand for corruption. In America. America does not stand for corruption in America. And one thing that I find interesting, just in my own opinion, because I'm trying to stay calm, believe it or not, it seems that... wow. Okay. It seems that the harder Americans work, the more corruption in other countries wants to appear. It seems the harder Americans work, and the more that there's a viciousness for liberty, the viciousness for good, it seems like the more corruption and globalists try to squeeze the life out of everything. And it seems very interesting. Just on the facts of what I know, it seems very interesting that, for one, there isn't. I mean, if anything, of course, everything that's going on, and believe it or not, I believe everything that the media does, especially from yesterday on, only makes Trump look better, for one. For two, it's not an argument about is the media making Trump look good or is the media not making Trump look good. That's irrelevant. Third of all, Americans ultimately, and I'm honestly going to say, like, at this point, like, I might be so upset that I might not even be speaking for Americans at this point. But Americans work so hard that they exemplify greatness, and they exemplify the respect of America. They exemplify the respect of the country. And the thing is, Americans work so hard that they deserve to have the freedom that they work for. And the fact that there's any sort of entity inside America, for example, the Democrats, I would just say Democrats. I'm not trying to accuse, but I'm just saying, let's pretend like the Democrats were trying to, goodness gracious. I'm not sure if my heart is too big or what, but it seems it's gotten to the point, like, where the Democrats are doing whatever they can to not have progress or to not have any continuous greatness happen. And it seems like there's not only an advocacy of socialism from the Democrats, but an advocacy of just absolute ridiculousness from the Democrats. And it seems like, I don't want to say the E word, but it seems like if there's anything that doesn't allow the country to progress, it would be the Democrats. And it seems very obvious. In my opinion, it seems very obvious to the president, and it seems very obvious to me. It just seems very obvious that there's some entity in... I don't even want to talk about it. It seems like the Democrats don't care at all. It seems like they really... It's not that they don't care about the country, it's that they actually want to destroy the country. And what's the point? And here's one thing that I also want to talk about. Why would we even bring up the I word? Why? Why at this point, for example, why would we even bring up the I word? And here's something that I found inspiring within me. Like, I already, like, I said something pretty radical. And maybe it is radical, maybe it isn't, who knows. But anyway, I got into the mode of, like, okay, I'm like running, and then if I'm running for president, then I gotta realize that I am, like, for example, a president, because there's, supporting the country, all that stuff, and then it's like, well, I forgot exactly what I said, but I said something like, if there's going to be impeachment, then that's something I would know about. If there's going to be impeachment of my presidency, then that would be something that's occurring in this now moment. And the thing is that, like, first of all, I don't think anybody gets upset. Second of all, I don't think anybody's ever done anything like that, and perhaps there's hardly a response. And third of all, I would, if there is a response, I would love to see the look on the Democrats' faces as they just blubber and just get absolutely terrified, and just, I would love to see the look on their faces. I would love to see the Democrats continue to do nothing at all. Like, first of all, what are they doing? Why are they even standing there? How much do they care about doing nothing? Like, how much effort can be put into doing nothing? And even greater, how much effort can be put into corruption? How much effort can be put into and not only just corruption, but the pathetic and rather just absolute, well, there's no better word, the absolute pathetic attempt of a corruption and the absolute pathetic attempts of attacking the presidency, who already won and already claimed victory. First of all, why would, like, first of all, this is a rhetorical question. What type of excuse could possibly be made to even talk about the I word in terms of the current president right now? What excuse could possibly be made? Especially by an adult. Like, if a kid were to ask that would make sense to me. But if an adult were to ask that, I honestly don't even know if they're trying to be an adult. I don't even know if they're in tune with reality. I'm not saying that I'm, supporting them or supporting their lack of intonation with reality, but it seems like there seems to be just like some type of diabolical force that's against liberty and against freedom, and I don't understand that. Like, let's pretend, deep breaths. Let's pretend that that is the reality, that there's absolute corruption occurring in the Democratic Party. Let's say that for some reason there's this. See, I can't even give a hypothetical. They're bad guys, dude. I know that. I can't pretend to lie, and I can't even pretend to defend the continuous ridiculousness of corruption, and it doesn't make sense to me. And it's amazing that it's so weird that I actually gave them this chance, but it's very interesting. Like I don't even have patience to pretend that I don't get upset when I'm listening to that speech. Like, what was it? 41 minutes, something like that? 30 minutes? Like, how? I actually have the question of how can I get that upset? How how can I be so upset that even though they're obviously the representatives, those three guys, the representatives of the country, of America, and I feel like I get so upset that that it seems like there's no progress. I'm not saying that because of what the president says that is what makes me upset. I'm not saying that because of what the president was explaining to the media of their lack of doing their job is what makes me upset. I'm have no idea. And this is somewhat sarcastic. I have no idea why anyone would hesitate to stop the corruption anywhere by this point. I'm going to agree that it takes someone with a big heart to say that. I'm going to agree, especially being an American, or even if when I was an American. It takes a really big heart to say that there shouldn't be corruption anywhere in the world. But I would say I'm a special case because I'm the one who's been fighting for liberty to end all corruption. Because if there's corruption in one place, then to America, it's obvious. I'm not saying I'm speaking for America, but to America, it's obvious that there's corruption everywhere. Like, if there's corruption in one place, if there's corruption in one country, if there's even the allowance of tyranny or corruption in another country, that means that there's risk of tyranny in America. And why is that the case? Because, well, me personally, because obviously I've been not fighting for liberty, which is, of course, something that I've been doing, but I've been fighting for unity worldwide, which is, of course, the magical word, worldwide unity, and worldwide, just a whole unified country, all that stuff, and a whole unified planet, and unified countries. Like, I would say that America's already a unified country, but it just seems like America's completely unified, and then there's just one ugly shaped splat that's the Democratic Party of nothing happenings and pointing fingers and whining and complaining about losing the. I don't feel like I know I'm taking in and I'm ingesting the greatness and that's been accomplished, and I am totally loving and agreeing and taking in like all that amazing praise that I get for the progress that I've I've done and the accomplishments that I've done, and I'm very happy about that. I'm aware of what some of those accomplishments are, and I'm very happy. I'm very proud. Same thing with President. I'm very proud of the President. I'm very proud of what he's done, and I'm very proud of his hard work ethic and his overall desire to defend freedom. But honestly, I'd be lying to say if I wasn't upset when I was watching the video. Like, I'd be lying to say if I wasn't upset. Like, especially by the time... Oh, goodness gracious. Especially by the time all three of them spoke. It just seems... No one really goes around and about saying, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you actually doing? Like, no one really is on that level, really. And if I say that there are multiple people on that level, I would say it would definitely be Trump. Like, I would say he's one of the people that's saying, like, literally, what are you doing? What are you possibly doing? And the thing is that I know for a fact is, like, which is, might not even be true, but I think the globalists are talking to the president, and I think the globalists actually, they know Trump, and they know that Trump is not going to budge. They know that Trump is not going to move, that he's a solid president. And without a doubt, it seems like America, would be, like he said, number 2. It wouldn't be number 1 if he didn't win the election. I don't know why I would talk about that. It seems like America would still be. I don't even know why I would talk about that in reality. America's prospering. America wants to prosper, and we obviously don't want to be corrupted or lied to or dismayed or made fun of. Obviously, there's a lot of respect for America, and obviously it's important to have a love for America. Or as an American, it's important for me to have love for America. I actually don't want to say anything else. I don't want to say anything else. What could possibly... Wow. Here's the truth. As soon as he asked that question, I honestly, I probably, I'm gonna just pretend to be on that stage right now. If I was standing on that stage, I probably wouldn't say anything. After that first question was asked. And after that second question was asked. Wow, dude. I don't know what I would say. I probably wouldn't say anything, though. I am so... The thing is, I think there's actual reasons for me to not be upset. But for me to believe that would have to mean that I believe in some type of reality that would support, the pursuit of happiness or something. That would mean I would support a reality that actually has the epitome of liberty and freedom at the forefront of and it seems like if, for example, if the American people didn't have liberty in their heart, didn't have, the best ideology of freedom in their minds, then they have yet to get there. But to be honest, why would I even pretend to lie that there's no American spirit? Why would I even pretend to lie to say that there's no desire for Americans to want to exist in a country full of liberty and freedom? Anyway, let's just look at this from a global scale, just so that I can see the big picture and take deep breaths and be okay. Corruption's not supposed to exist, and obviously, if there's corruption in one country, there's corruption that's happening, and that cannot exist. Corruption needs to be squashed, and I'm not saying that America absolutely should support, but America is. America is supporting all the countries, and like, for example, the countries that I talked about yesterday. Not that that's the main thing that I really want to talk about, but America is supporting, for example, Venezuela and El Salvador and Guatemala and all those countries. And I'm not saying that, the reality that I want for them is reality that they want for themselves. And I'm not saying that, my best overall solution, which is probably one of the best overall solutions that has ever existed in the universe, but the best overall solution that actually exists with the fact that more aid could be provided due to the fact that I have a big heart, should be provided due to the fact that I have a big heart. Because that reality exists, because there's actual, advanced technology that should be, given to the entire world, it seems like I should continue to do whatever I can to support those countries, even more than the support that's already been given. And what? The truth is that there's millions and millions of dollars going to those countries. And that's the plain old truth. That's actually the truth. That's the truth. That's what the president said. There's millions of dollars going to those countries. And here's what I find interesting. Maybe it has, I want to focus on life. Maybe it has everything to do with life and the supporting of life and the supporting of liberty. That's kind of what I think. Whatever would allow and provide a continuously flourishing whatever would provide a continuously flourishing planet, therefore a continuously flourishing country, therefore a continuously flourishing economy, then there would be no question at all. There would be no question at all about corruption. Or about... Okay, there's no such thing as a stupid question. But about the stupid questions. The stupid question... I'm just going to say that Trump's response was a very, 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 very good response to the I word. It was a very good response. And the thing is... Goodness gracious. See, I didn't know... Let me be honest for a second. I didn't know. I knew I'd be proud of America. I knew no matter what that I'd be proud of America, and I'd be proud of Trump when I watched that hour-long UN press conference. I knew I'd be proud of America. But I did not know going into it that I'd be upset. I'd be that upset while listening to the president, and I'd be that upset about what corruption thinks of the president. And it's interesting, I actually, it's very, very interesting, I actually said something in the middle of, and this was an hour after, approximately an hour after, is when I started watching the press conference, but I said, kind of mumbling under my breath, but I said, because obviously, not that it really matters, but I know that the CIA and the NSA are watching and listening and all that stuff. Excuse me. But I said, I just need to know that the cabal are done for. I just need to know that the cabal are no more. That's all I need to know. That's all I need to know. That's what I have to know. I need to know that the cabal are no more. And that's what I absolutely care about, But the thing is, actually, I should be more honest with myself, and therefore more honest to people in general. I want to know for certain that there's no more corruption anywhere. I want to know for certain that there's no more cabal, and there has to be no more cabal in order for me to continue to progress further. like, or to really consider progress to be progress. And the thing is, there's a lot of progress. There's a lot of progress, you know? There's a lot of progress with the assumption that the cabal are non-existent. And the thing is, there even is a lot of progress assuming that the cabal are in existence. Because regardless, there's been, obviously, like the president said, like Trump said, and he's a great president, but he said there's a lot of progress with employment. Employment's gone up, and unemployment's gone way down. Oil is good. Energy seems to be good for America. And there seems to be progress. There seems to be progress in America. That's kind of my words. You know, there seems to be progress in America. But I'm certain that he would also agree that there's progress in America. But, you know, going back to just a news standpoint, because I honestly didn't mean, I'm trying to be professional. I didn't mean to go off on a tangent there. But just from a strict professional news standpoint, Trump seems to be doing his job, and America shall be more informed about the actual progress that that America's making, and the world is making, and Trump is making. And what I mean to say is America would be even more informed if the media had done their job, and if the Democrats had done their job, for example. What's the word? If there was actual news coverage of the amazingness that the mainstream media, if there's actual news coverage that is, you know, truthful and, you know, promoting it and for America, that the news media would cover, then I would agree that America would be more informed, and America would know that it's flourishing. And in my opinion, I think America is flourishing. And from what I know, and even the things that most people don't know, the things that I know, because I've researched like a non-human, apparently. The things I do for my country. Ridiculous, right? It seems like there's a lot more progress and a lot more things happening behind the scenes. And am I going to take credit for the whole thing? Maybe, maybe not. But regardless, a lot of progress can occur with, for example, the I don't want to bring up the media again, but the amount of money that the media is dealing with, the mainstream media, I mean, the false media, the fake media, the pathetic media, the attempt of job forming, the attempt of doing their job. And the funny thing is, I think I'd actually be repeating myself, but that's really important. Like, let's say there was this, like, the mainstream media, that whole salary thing, all that money, just from the Democratic media, mainstream media, all that jazz. Millions of dollars going towards the truth of the top-notch health for everybody. The truth of the top-notch technology for everybody. And the truth of top-notch sustainability, abundance, and actual development and creation for everybody. The thing is, the rate of progress that can happen in 30 minutes, and the actual, you know, intelligent questions that could be asked is amazing. Like, and that's kind of the thing. Like, if I was there, what questions would I ask? And the thing is, I can't have that much rage. Okay, I can't have that much rage inside me, and say that I can't even ask a question, dude. I can't even ask a question because it would literally be ridiculous. I can't have that much rage inside me. It would... Alright. What question would I ask? I would ask... It's funny, one of the questions I want to ask a few days ago, which would probably be the same question. I would ask, are we a unified planet? That would be one of the questions I would ask. Second question I would ask is... I feel like these aren't the questions I would normally be asked, but... Is the cabal still trying to enslave America? Third question I would ask is, to what extent is the cabal still trying to enslave America? What are you doing to subvert the cabal's cause, to cause corruption not only in America but around the entire world? And how would you respond to the corruption that's in your face, Mr. President, in terms of how much the Democrats actually care about you being the president of America? What else would I say? 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 Oh, Mr. President. How many times has the cabal tried to manipulate you? How many times has the cabal attempted to mislead you or attempted to corrupt the country? How many times has America almost been thwarted by the cabal? How many times have you discovered that because of not only the things that you've done, but the courage that you portray, have you signified your excellence, just exemplifying American spirit to terrify the cabal and to terrify corruption? Mr. President, what could you do? Gosh. That's not even a proper question when I think about it, because it's on a whole nother scale. But Mr. President, what would you do to deal with the corruption that's not even a threat to you at all? What would you do to deal with the enemies of liberty that's not even a threat to your already victoriously claimed election? Mr. President, what is the corruption trying to do to continue this ridiculous montage, for lack of a better word, of claiming that you should be impeached? What, Mr. President, are the Democrats doing, or what is the cabal still trying to do to continue to divide and conquer? Hold on, I'm gonna wait till this plane flies by. Weird questions, weird questions. See, it's like the I don't feel like those questions aren't even asked, because it could be just my opinion, but it seems like the media doesn't even care about the country. And I feel like you'd have to have a mainstream media that actually cares about the country in order for anyone at all to be informed that there's desire for liberty, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness. Liberty, life, and the pursuit of happiness. Gosh. Yeah, without a doubt. Mike Pompeo is doing excellent. Trump is doing excellent. Without a doubt, I actually don't remember his name, unfortunately. And I should probably, just look it up just to find out. But the third guy that was speaking, right after Mike Pompeo, you're excellent. They're excellent people. It's interesting because I was also watching their faces, or particularly Trump's face. And in my opinion, and I could be wrong, but it seems like he seemed to get actually visibly more upset. And I could be wrong, but that's what I think. That's what I think. And I think he has every right to. Because he's supporting, okay, goodness gracious. I'm not going to give any more hypotheticals, because any more hypotheticals would just literally just Drive me up the wall. I honestly think that there's no more corruption in the world. And I think that because for, like, even, I don't know why I bring this up, but as a service member, I was actually, developed a way to have a unified planet, and have a unified collective, a unified planet that lives in peace and prosperity and lives in abundance and stability and sustainability. There is countless amounts of creativity, countless amounts of utilization of imagination that can be utilized to develop on a scale that can progress to heights that or similar to what happened in this 3-day period. For example, I mean, anything you think of. Like, think about how instantaneously, just like that, for example, America and Japan can agree on creating an ocean city in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. And that city can be constructed in a matter of 8 hours. An entire city that's big enough to occupy 15 million people. And you can create a whole new network of whatever, religious freedom, religious tolerance, a whole new set of anything, dude. The freedom of a city that, like an ocean city in the middle of the Pacific, from the unique sort of unity from America and Japan, that's something that can happen in a matter of 8 hours. The construction would be completed. The city would be completed and occupied in 8 hours. That's the level of construction that we live in now. If I told the truth, I would be saying that type of that type of collaboration and the type of construction that would occur could actually occur in a matter of 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 8 minutes. The entire building of massive foundations set straight into the floor of the ocean, and then perhaps like 3 levels of, I actually don't know how deep the ocean is, but 2 miles of inhabitation, of houses, transportation, like new sorts of train systems, abundance in food. 8 minutes. It's not that hard. There's literally nothing to fight about. There's literally nothing to go to war about. There's literally nothing to go to war about. Everybody wins. Everybody wins. How about another example of just and this is probably just like the virtue of America in itself, or the amazingness of America in itself, and the willingness of America. 3 countries: Africa, the UK, and America. Same thing in the Atlantic Ocean. Create a city in minutes, and that would flourish. That city would flourish, and not only would it flourish the economy of that city, of that city itself in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, but every single country around would prosper. Everybody wins. It would be a major success. A major success. Africa would flourish. America would flourish. The UK would flourish. In a matter of minutes, an entire construct of greatness could be constructed. And it's very simple. That's the type of reality that exists now. That's the type of reality that existed yesterday, and that's the type of reality that actually existed 3 days ago. That's the type of reality that existed all week. And what is it? Is it the fact that it's not about me, but is it the fact that it's my tenacity to know that these type of technologies are already in existence, that these type of economies should be flourishing the way that they should be flourishing, or is it the fact that is it my like urgency of pushing a certain type of a consciousness of liberty and acceleration of progress that continues to recognize this sort of flourishing economies that already exist and continues to have that sort of flourishing economy exist based upon the freedom that the Constitution instills and allows. Because I'm an American. Which one is it? It's either way, it's a win-win situation. Think about it. How much progress can be achieved with the unity and oh goodness gracious. How much progress could be achieved with the fact that we are a unified planet? And even greater, how much progress could be achieved with the fact that there's no corruption anywhere on the planet? Third of all, how much progress could be achieved with the absolute agreement that there's absolutely no war, that there's absolutely no arguing, and even greater, because this is absolutely the truth, that there's nothing to argue about? What a world. What a world, guys. What a world. It's very simple. Seems very simple to me. And okay, and let's just, I didn't even bring up this fact. Which is probably more of a UN thing, because the UN, anyway. I probably should have mentioned this, but like, that would actually be a very good question. And that's actually the question I want to ask. And probably be a very good question for the media to ask. And, perhaps the media can still ask it. Because they still have the opportunity to ask it. I don't know why they haven't asked it in the past few years. But there's a question that the media can ask. What are the countries doing? Or actually, it doesn't matter what the other countries are doing. What is America doing about... how is America going to respond to the advanced civilization of inner Earth? How is America going to respond? Or how are you going to respond, Mr. Trump, to the advanced civilization that exists in the inner Earth? How are you going to respond to the advanced civilization that exists within the 400 miles beneath our feet, and the civilization that exists 800 miles beneath our feet? How would you respond to that? That's a question that I would have. That's a very good question I would have. And now let's be realistic. I already created a petition and had many people sign that petition. But I had a petition for a peace treaty between, I'm pretty sure it was America, but I think I had a peace treaty for America and Agartha, and a peace treaty between actually it was just America. I don't think it was the entire planet at the time. But I had a petition to have a peace treaty between America and Agartha, just to set some sort of foundation of recognition of Agartha. Wouldn't that be a great step? The first step is peace. The first step is the desire for trade with this advanced civilization. The first step is to want to achieve based upon a reality that is the best reality in terms of how we could possibly approach this advanced civilization. Doesn't that make sense? And the thing is, so I had that petition, and that's something that I formed back in 2016, 2017. That's something I formulated. Oh, excuse me. I need to do laundry. That's something that I formulated as a petition way back then. And that would be an immense amount of progress. And once again, the same thing. When we just say there's nothing for us to argue about, because there really isn't. There's nothing for America to argue about for Agartha, and there's nothing. Well, there might be. But I don't really think there's anything for Agartha to argue about for America. So, honestly, I don't see what the possible complaints could be. I don't see what the possible problems could be, possible issues could be. And I would even go so as far to say, and probably this is true, but I would go so far to say that perhaps I don't know the amount of progress that's actually being made. Perhaps I don't even know the amount of of greatness that I've already achieved and that is already, repeatedly being exemplified to me. Perhaps I don't know. I'm willing to admit that. But for now, there's going to be a little intermission, and I shall continue the route. This is probably some advanced sort of news network. I've been bouncing around, I admit that. I haven't been really specific and strict and professional in terms of what I want this news network, this TV show to actually personify in terms of news. So I'm not going to get into more details about that, but all I'm going to say is that when it comes to Agartha and America and the relationship between Agartha and America, I think the Democrats are lucky that they didn't mention anything about corruption. Let's just say that. The Democrats are very lucky they didn't mention anything about corruption. So enjoy this music that I made, and the intermission shall commence. Okie dokie, I am back with some more broadcasting. So, saying that I'm back does not mean like I went somewhere and came back, because I feel like that could be really confusing, and people will try and take advantage of that misunderstanding. So, when I say that I'm back, I'm just meaning to say that I'm just here to continue the broadcast. that I already started. Anyway, so continuation of the truth. Like, think about it. How easy? Actually, before, like, not to say that America is unable to do the two things before, such as like creating an Atlantic Ocean city and a Pacific Ocean city, but think about like making an actual alignment with or an actual trade agreement with Agartha first. Like, if we did that first before we even did that ocean city creation management sort of thing, think about how successful that would be. It would be incredibly successful. Think about it anyway. Like, I think that would also be a good question to ask the president. Like, Mr. President, when do you think... Gosh, that sounds so hypothetical. But, Mr. President, when do you think America will be ready to be aware of the reality of an advanced civilization that has been existing under their feet for thousands of years? When do you think America will be ready for that revelation of truth? Mr. President, when... Gosh, dude, I'm not even going to ask that question, because I get so upset. Mr. President, you can see with your own eyes. Look at him. They're just bickering for literally no reason at all. Look at them. Watch them. Watch them fight amongst each other. Watch them complain for no reason. Watch them get frustrated and angry for no reason. Watch them fight amongst each other. Watch them like scrabble over ridiculousness. Mr. President, you are the one who's seen it. Your eyes alone. Do you see all this corruption, Mr. President? All the ridiculousness, all the bickering, all the fighting. Do you see it? Just want to say that. Very, very cool. Anyway, there's no reason for us to fight, and it's really, really amazing. Very, very amazing, because that's probably actually the question I should have asked first versus any other question. So, just so that I could, not get upset, because it's ridiculous. Like, and it's kind of difficult for me. Like, how do I ask a question to, just play upon the... Anyway, I'm not even going to go there. Not even going to go there, because that's so beneath me. I'm not even going to go there. Anyway. Agartha, like, this is such a golden opportunity. This is such a golden age of excellence, and a golden age of prosperity for us to have the opportunity to align and to connect with this reality of Agartha and Shambhala, and more importantly, which is a great model for example, I'm not saying that it is a galactic city. I'm not saying it isn't a galactic city, but it's a great model for a galactic city, which is something that I was inspired to create, which is also something that may or may not have anything to do with religious tolerance, but which is probably another topic as well. But does what's the word? I don't even know how to ask this actually. Do you think that America... Actually, no, I think that's a good way to ask that. Do you think America is able to handle the amount of abundance and prosperity that will be achieved once we recognize the amount of trade that can occur between, for example, America and the Agartha network? Or, Mr. President, do you realize the amount of prosperity that would be achieved through any type of trade agreement between America and the Agartha network? Mr. President, one more day. Mr. President, one more day. Mr. President, let's pretend, even if I didn't say anything about Agartha yet, if for some reason this video never got to the internet, and let's pretend this video wasn't even live, do you think that somebody would suggest that the trade any form of trade agreements with the Agartha network would be a good idea? Actually, Mr. President, even better question. Do you think that... Actually... No, I will ask that. Mr. President, do you think that it is a good idea? Do you think America would think it's a good idea to unify to Agartha? Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think America will ever agree? Actually, no. Even better question, Mr. President. Mr. President, do you think that America would want to accept the reality of Agartha, of that country called Agartha, or that whole continent of Agartha? Do you think that America is willing to accept the truth of the fact that there's an advanced civilization that's more advanced than America, for example? Or Mr. President, do you think that America is willing to accept or willing to think, or do you think America believes that America is an advanced civilization? Do you think that America thinks that it has the ability to unify with all the other countries? Do you think America thinks it's responsible enough to be a country that actually is able to unify with other countries completely without any corruption or any manipulation or any desire for negativity or dismay or corruption? Do you think America is able to handle that? Do you think America is mature enough? Do you think that if you mentioned Agartha, Mr. President, that the Democrats would get off your back? Do you think if you mention Agartha that the globalists will run scared? Or do you think the globalists will double down in their efforts of corruption and manipulation and evilness and control? Do you think that our liberties would be less in jeopardy or more in jeopardy with the revelation of Agartha to the surface world or to America? Do you think that... Actually, I already know the answer. I think I know the answer. But I think Mr. President has already taken steps. I think Trump has already taken steps. I think Trump... See? I'm trying not to get upset. I think Trump is intelligent. I think he's smart, and not only is he smart, he's wise, and he wants to be a good person. I think he knows what he's doing, and I think he's making the right decisions. That's what I gotta say. You know, that's honestly actually what I gotta say. And the thing is not that not only is it a great honor to serve him, or just as a commander in chief, but it's also an even cooler honor to be a citizen, as he's the president, and it's awesome that I get to do both, because I'm probably not many people get to say that. To be honest, I do have a privilege, and I'm glad to have that privilege, and I respect that, and I'm glad that there's probably a whole realm of honor that I'm not fully aware of, and yet I accept that, and I appreciate that, and I also know that perhaps my heart is still too big, but I still accept that I am but I am amazing. See, I can't say that I believe in greatness without saying that I'm also great. Because I believe in greatness, and I also believe that I'm great, and I actually believe that Americans have created, which just sounds so bizarre, but I actually believe Americans are a part of... Dude, I just need to look toward the future. That's all I need to do. Anyway, I believe that Americans are a part of creating a great reality. I believe that Americans are really creating a brilliant reality. Perhaps, maybe I took it too far in terms of having just my marketing team, and maybe I shouldn't talk about it, but whatever, I'm going to talk about it. Because maybe it's a ridiculous mindset that I have, and it might be ridiculous, but maybe I took it too far to say that, this American, the American that's a marketing... Anyway. maybe it's ridiculous to say that there's a computer program computer program that there's a freaking dude, I don't know what to say it, but there's a freaking computer program that allows us to connect and tap into the reality of the mining operations that are occurring off world, and that I am responsible for that. And I thought, in my mind, that was something I could witness and be a representative of, or more specifically, just be like a watcher or overwatcher of, like an overseer. And I take full responsibility of thinking, that was a good idea. I thought that they would be responsible enough to handle that, and I thought they would be very capable in terms of what they could do in terms of involving themselves in the mining operations, the mining corporation. And I thought they would be, I honestly think that they're responsible enough to ultimately completely take over the ICC's mining operations, and I oversaw that, and I believed that I was doing the right thing. I take full responsibility of that. I take full responsibility of not only convincing myself that that's something that they should be a part of and something that they are a part of, but I take full responsibility in continuing to lead them down that sort of road, that sort of pathway, that sort of avenue of reality that they're allowed to even engage in any of the mining operations for any of the rare earth minerals, or any of the rare minerals that we think are rare on Earth, such as gold, diamond, sapphire, ruby, emerald, quartz, amethyst, silver, platinum. I take full responsibility of the mining that occurred and the mining operations that will possibly continue to occur based on the oversight that I provide, or at least the mindset that I provided from that mindset of overseeing the mining operations from my view. I take full responsibility of that. So, everything that happens in that sort of event, that sort of connection, I take full responsibility for, and I do claim that I'm responsible for every action that happened, whether it's miscommunication of the degree of mining, whether it's miscommunication of the type of tools that are used to mine, whether it's miscommunication of the amount of time it takes to communicate the miners to the actual, for example, beings that are collecting all the inventory. I take full responsibility. I take full responsibility for that occurrence. I also want to be honest this way. I want to be honest in the fact that, obviously, I'm willing to be someone as great as John Paul Jones and Andrew Jackson and Ulysses S. Grant, and as brave as the forefathers who founded this country. And I want to admit that I am continuously willing to be that brave, and I'm willing to admit that I do not wish to live in a reality that the cabal continuously believes that they're on top and continuously exists to be on top. I will not stand for it. I will not stand for a reality that supports the cabal. I will not even sit for a reality that supports it. I will not even sleep for a reality that exists for the cabal. And I want to stand very true to that statement. I don't want to say anything more, so this is the end of this broadcast. Whatever news wants to be perceived, whatever mainstream media can think. If for some reason people get more upset about the status of the country, then let it be. So, whatever, dude. I can't just rage. I can't pretend to rage at people because of their lack of knowledge of the fact that we can live as an advanced civilization that has no idea that has no reason to argue with one another. It has no idea or purpose to argue. Whatever, dude. Whatever.